Hi, my name is James. I'm a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic. I'm going to see Deadpool and Wolverine tonight in my regularly scheduled live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be at the movies. So I thought I'd check in with you right now, and hopefully I can talk to some of you UK viewers. Let's talk about fear real quick. Uh, And feel free to call in if you would like. I'm going to put the number up in the chat box. Obviously, I'm talking to no one right now. But I have no fear that you will get the number anyway. So check it out. Fear is the corroding thread of the alcoholic's mind. Well, let's just say human mind. Fear is a problem with especially addicts and alcoholics. And that's all we're talking about. So let's just keep it there. What up, Adam? Hey, there's the number if you'd like to call in, Adam. I'm going to see Deadpool and Wolverine tonight, so I won't be on at 9 as usual tonight. So I'd appreciate it if you'd call in. Oh, there's the number. But yeah, fear, worry, anxiety, stress, restlessness, irritability, discontentment, drunk. That's usually the order of operations. Fear, worry, anxiety, restlessness, irritability, discontentment, drunk. And I know this from a decade or so of experience and the experience of alcoholics everywhere. But here's the deal. What up, Holly? I'm going to see Wolverine and Deadpool tonight, so I won't be on at my usual time, but feel free to call in. I'm going to touch base real quick on fear, a very important topic in addiction recovery. Fear is usually, here's the deal where I'm at in my recovery, and I'd like to share this with y'all. The promises are real. One of the promises, or a bunch of them, regard fear. One is your fear of people and economic insecurity will leave you. This I couldn't comprehend, but when I put my full trust in AA and stopped putting my trust in myself and my thoughts, and that's the key. When you stop trusting your thoughts, you are powerless and your life has become unmanageable. That includes your thoughts. My thoughts weren't working for me, so I made the leap of faith and used the philosophies of Alcoholics Anonymous. They suggest living in the moment, one day at a time, life on life's terms, God's will be done. I've been doing this like a rabid dog lately, like a dog with a bone, because it's like a drug. I always wondered in life, how do you let go of something that's bothering you? If I had a bad breakup, or I lost something that I desperately wanted in my life, I always wondered what they meant by let go. It's like, how do you even do that? I'll tell you now, from hindsight and experience, practice. You don't just hear "don't worry, be happy" once and then you never worry again and you're always happy. It takes practice. Baby steps, one day at a time, because my skills at letting go, my skills at coming back into the moment if I'm future tripping, my skills at realizing that I'm restless, irritable, and discontent because it's something that I want, and my realization that my mind is sick with alcoholism. We're alcoholics till the day we die. Whether we treat it or not is our option. It is treated with, I no longer trust my thoughts. It doesn't matter how good of an idea sounds. If I end up stressing over it, I become restless, irritable, and discontent. It means I'm trying to assert my will and I can just let it go. It doesn't matter how much I think I want it. I can just let it go. I choose to say, God's will be done. Because that to me means it's going to work out. And through hindsight, you wouldn't believe how well this works. Let me know if you guys have experience with this. What up, MKM? Teddy Bear, Taj Coffee, good to see you as well. I am early. I won't be here at 9 tonight. I'm going to see Deadpool and Wolverine do their thing on the big screen. And here's an example. A friend of mine, he's one of us. Trials and tribulations with drugs and alcohol. He's going through a bad time, needs to get out of his space for a while. He asked me if I wanted to go see Deadpool and shit after the meeting tonight. Immediately, my will started talking. You don't have any money. You got to do the live stream. You don't even like sitting in movie theaters most of the time. That was my will talking to me. But AA suggests do the next right thing. The next right thing is, you know what? My dude needs some company. Also, I need to get out. Also, I don't need to worry about finances. If I trust in God, do the next right thing, shit's been working out. And normally I would get in my head about something coming up, like plans. I'll start to think, man, I'm going to spend all that gas money and the movie theater is probably going to cost $50 with popcorn and all that. And man, you don't even want to go to the movie. And I'll get all in my head. That's my will. With practice, I've been starting to recognize that my will is the source of my fears, because my will is like, I want this and I'm not going to get it. That's fear. Restlessness, irritability, discontentment, drunk. I haven't thought about a drink in 8 months. Today is my 8th month exactly without drugs and alcohol. Drugs, alcohol, or other drugs. Now, I don't even consider alcohol. It's not even a thing. I don't go to meetings because I want to drink. I don't work the steps because I want to drink. I'm not doing this thing because I want to drink anymore and I want to not drink. I'm doing this thing because the promises of AA, they don't even mention drinking, by the way, promise peace and serenity. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. Fear of economic insecurity and people will leave us. We will know peace and we will know true serenity. That's the shit I'm after. That's why I go to 2 meetings a day and have been for 8 months. That's not a brag. That's science and math. I don't do it because I'm holier than thou, and I don't do it to prove it to somebody or anybody. I do it because the program of AA is literally medicine. It's literally medicine. And the drinking is the obsession to drink is the first to go. If you still have the obsession to drink, keep working the steps. But straight up, I'm after that serenity and peace. Thank you, MKM. So now, when I'm restless, irritable, and discontent, because I'm human, and not only that, I'm an alcoholic human, I'll get all, without even knowing it, I'll be in my head about something I want, one of my desires, something I fear. Now it's like, if I'm restless, irritable, and discontent, it's time for me to practice the 3rd step of Alcoholics Anonymous. Hand my will over to the care of God as I understand it. And if you don't want to say God or whatever, just hand your will over. Get rid of it. It does no good. I used to wonder how to do that. Now I know with practice, you start to be able to do it. With practice. And you know what practice is? Practice and discipline are defined as basically doing something even though you don't want to do it. You don't want to go to AA meetings, James? It's too bad. What you're doing isn't working. It's time for you to trust wholly in a power greater than yourself. Your shit is not working. You're restless, you're irritable, you're discontent, and you end up drinking. So, even though these ideas of AA, a lot of them, more so in the beginning, 12, 13 years ago, were foreign and undesirable for me to practice. I got so desperate. 8 months ago, I got so desperate, I said, I don't care what I want to do. I don't care what I think. I don't care about my opinions anymore. Well, I do care, obviously, that's the problem. But I don't trust them. I don't trust my thinking anymore. And lo and behold, that's what AA has been telling me the entire time. Alcoholism is a disease of the mind. Alcoholism lies to us in our own voice. It tells us that those new tires you want for your truck, even though you don't have a job yet, and even though you're barely, away from your last drink, you're worried about some new tires for your truck now, because without knowing it for the past 5 minutes, I've been in my will. My ego wants some truck tires. And with practice, I'm telling you, this shit is real. I finally figured out what letting go actually means and how to do it. And how to do it is trusting in a power greater than yourself. For me, sometimes that's reality. I say to myself, you know what? You can either not sleep here in your bed because you're thinking and worrying about tomorrow or the next day so much, or you can just be like, you know what? Reality be done. Whatever happens, happens. And that's something I always wanted to be able to do, and I was never able to do it until I worked the third step of Alcoholics Anonymous, handing my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand it. And I used to skip right over the God word. I don't anymore. You know why? Because I skipped over it because of my own reasons. I skipped over it because I thought I had powers that explained why I should. A power greater than myself, which is one of them is Alcoholics Anonymous, says you got to believe in a God of your understanding, a power greater than yourself. It doesn't mean you believe in God of the, with sandals on and shit. It doesn't mean you have to believe in anything other than not you. And that's where I discovered, after I did that step, I discovered my fear, my anxiety, my depression, when I'm practicing that step, and it does take practice, but I'm getting better and better at it. But you guys may have noticed I've lost 2 sources of income this past month. That zoo job, which I loved, and my monetization got ripped right out from underneath me on the channel. On this channel, no longer monetized for 90 days because of a reuse law. I was pissed at first. That's our knee-jerk reaction is I'm upset. The world isn't what I want it to be. I don't get what I want. I'm upset. Why me? My sponsor, when I asked him that question, he said, why not you? You're just another human being. It's got to happen to somebody. This stuff happens, you know what I mean? Why not you? That's when I discovered humility. I'm not above things like this happening to me. And I'm not way at the bottom where all the bad shit is going to happen to me. I'm just a human. Shit happens. Reality be done. And you know what? It always works out. And when I started to believe that it's going to work out, it doesn't matter how much I think and worry and try to scheme my way to getting what I want. It doesn't matter. All that does is work me up, and I'll get restless, irritable, discontent, and eventually drunk. And, well, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. I'm going to see a movie tonight. I haven't been to the movie theater in a long time. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I fully trust in God now. I'm not going to go throwing my money out the window or anything, but I've been eating, I've been grocery shopping, saving money. The only thing I do is go to meetings and do this stream. Other than that, it's walk the dogs, work out, anything that's free. So I said, you know what? My buddy needs me and I need to get out too. And I need some company too. And it's going to be fun. And we're hitting a meeting and it's going to be fun. So my fears and my will and shit gets in there and it's just like, you don't have any money. And, all that stuff that you fear is out there. Why don't you just stay home and lay on the couch like you always do? Down home, you saw the car wreck story. Yeah, I enjoyed making that video. What's up, Shades? I'm going to see Deadpool and Wolverine tonight, so I'm streaming now. Somebody can call in if they want. I got the phone number up at the top. However, yeah, we still have time. Why don't you like going to the movies? ADHD or the cost? Both. And I'm 6'5", and my back usually hurts. Mostly the cost. I get vexed. But these days, I'm not getting angry anymore. I used to lay on my horn if someone was staying at the red light or staying at the green light and the red light turned green and they're staying too long. I used to lay on my horn. Like my opinion rules the world. So what? It's like, now it's like, you know what? So what? I'm starting to notice that there's usually reasons that they don't see it. So what if they're on their phone? I'm on my phone too. And here I am going to lay on my horn, blasting my opinion at this guy or old lady. You know what I mean? And I don't lay on my horn anymore. You know what my horn was? My horn was an expression of my will, my restlessness, irritability, and discontentment. When I lay on my horn, that was me saying, me. I freaked Mikey out. And that's ridiculous. So now I'm just going to go with the flow. God's will be done. For all I know, and this is how it's been happening. This is an extreme example. But for all I know, because I stopped worrying and fearing and said, you know what? God's will be done. I'll go to a movie tonight. The money will come. God's will be done. It's the right thing to do. You got a friend in need. You got it. You're in need. You know what I'm saying? For all I know, I'll find a bag of $1 million in the movie theater tonight. That's how this God's will be done thing works. Well, not really. Our fears keep us in our comfort zones. Growth is on the outside of our comfort zones. You know what I mean? So I'm finding that was key to my recovery. Drinking is beside the point. It's not even in the equation. My fears and anxiety. Now I'm concentrating on you know what I mean? Like peace and serenity. Serenity now. Trippy Seeds went through a phase of sneaking booze into the theaters. Yeah, my will be done. I'm going to bring booze into the theater. My will be done. You know what I mean? You think that's God's will? No. God's will never be sneak a 40 ounce into the movie theater. My will be done. I think there should be booze in here. I don't even like this movie. Boo! I'm going to honk at everybody on my way home. My will be done. It's so ridiculous. Me. I think there should be booze in here. I'm going to bring it in. I don't care. I don't care if there's old, families with their kids and shit. I'm going to start throwing popcorn. I did that. I got kicked out of a hockey game. I had a bottle of 151 in my leather jacket, and I was throwing popcorn. I got kicked out of a hockey game. You know how hard that is to do? A hockey game where fighting is literally part of the sport. I got kicked out because it was my will. My will be done. Once I started to realize how ridiculous and silly and childish my wants, my needs, me is, that's when my ego started to shrink down back to right size. That's when I started thinking about other people. And my will be done is the source of anger, restlessness, fear, worry. What do we worry about when our way isn't happening? That's what we worry about. Am I going to get this thing? Am I going to get this relationship? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? That's what worry is, and fear. And that's your ego. That's our ego. Once I realized how silly that shit is, I wanted to strangle my ego. My sponsor said, no, we don't murder our ego. Egos serve a purpose. In fact, egos serve a purpose. We just have to make them right-sized. Your ego's back there demanding, its backseat driving. Why don't you have this? Why didn't you turn there? Why aren't you going faster? Why is that guy in front of you not going? I believe I've been an alcoholic all my life. Before I discovered alcohol, I'd crush a whole box of chocolate chip cookies just because it made me feel good. Later on, I would huff gasoline. Back in first grade, second grade, I'd be pulling hair, writing curse words on the wall, vandalizing, swearing, fighting, because my will be done. Alcoholism is self-will run riot. You know who else is self-will run riot? Toddlers throwing tantrums. You know what I mean? And my mom and dad told me I used to throw epic tantrums. They said they didn't know how I lifted it, but I lifted my toy box, a antique wooden toy box, and I threw it down the stairs. My will be done. So I was an alcoholic way before I discovered alcohol. But yeah, alcoholism has, once you get to once you learn what it is in Alcoholics Anonymous, you realize alcohol is just part of the word. It has very little to do with alcohol. Alcohol is just the perceived medicine for the condition. That's why if we try to stop drinking, we may be able to do it for a couple of years. It'll be tough. It'll be nail biting, blood, sweat, and tears, white knuckling it. And then we'll end up drinking again because the problem was there the entire time. And it got to a point untreated to where you couldn't handle it. You needed a treatment, which is essentially alcohol treats our alcoholism. Alcohol is the medicine for alcoholism. The only problem is it comes with progressively worse side effects. And they end up being jails, institutions, death, decapitation, amputation, diabetes, cirrhosis, jaundice, liver failure. So like the side effects of the medicine for alcoholism, alcohol. Alcohol is the perceived medicine for alcoholism. That's what we go to. We find alcohol in our teenage years and we're like, I feel better. I feel like I've arrived. This is great. I feel like I'm part of the human race. That's because alcohol treats our alcoholism until the consequences start arriving. And they always do because we can't get enough. We're not alcoholics because we drink too much. We're alcoholics because we can't drink enough. So the alcohol it's literally a medicine. Drug, medicine, they're synonymous. Alcohol is an anesthetic. It can be used as a pain reliever. It's a medicine. We use it as a recreational drug. But essentially, the alcoholic is treating their alcoholism with alcohol. What's the alternative to that when the side effects of alcohol get to be, decapitation and all the rest of that shit I said? The alternative is Alcoholics Anonymous, the real solution. When you learn to let go of fear, when you learn to let go of worry, instead of future tripping, you're just here in the moment. You're honest. You're full of hope. You have discipline, perseverance, love, integrity. You're a person of service. You try to think of others more than you think of yourself, because alcoholism is a disease of self. And when we're trapped in that loop of thinking about ourselves, we're full of fear. Am I going to lose this? How am I going to get what I want? We fool ourselves into thinking we need it. We don't. We don't need shit. I've been practicing the whole God's will be done. Like I said, man, it's better than any drug. It can happen at a drop of a dime. If I'm restless, if I'm uncomfortable, when you sense I'm having a bad day. If I'm having a bad 5 minutes, I can be like, God's will be done. It's gone. The faith in that is at first a leap of faith, but it is turned through hindsight into a belief for me. Full faith, full-on faith. 100 forms of fear and the 4 hideous horsemen of alcoholism. Terror, bewilderment, frustration, and fear, and despair. We were struck with 100 forms of fear. That's right, Kevin. Miss Ford says, when I was a kid, I would spin in a circle, then sit down really quick because I liked the feeling. Right. We were alcoholics way before alcohol ever came into the picture. Alcoholism, like I said, it seems that alcoholism has very little to do with alcohol and a whole lot to do with the ism. It's a disease of the mind. It's a disease of self. We're in our minds thinking about ourselves. When you can let go of what you want, what you think you want. I'm starting to learn the shit I want I wanted to drink all my life. Was that the right thing to want? I think I know what I want. I'll put the cart before the horse. And I'll go out and get those tires for my truck. I don't even have a job. I haven't even paid my mortgage. And I'm getting tires for my truck because that's what I think I want. We don't know what we want. It's our ego running the show. When we get caught up in self and fear and worry that our ego isn't going to get what it wants, we start putting carts before the horse. We get drunk. Then we start putting alcohol before our mortgage. And then we get homeless. We put alcohol before the law, then we get jailed. We put alcohol before our life, and then we get dead. So it's God's will be done. It'll work out. My ideas, my thoughts, some of them are good. I'll give you that. All of our ideas, you know what I mean? Some are good, some aren't. Some are the ideas of our alcoholism. But when I was desperate, I was like, whatever I think, I'm just getting rid of it. I'm handing it over. If I want to watch TV tonight, I'm going to a meeting instead. That's what AA said. If I don't want to call an alcoholic, I'm calling an alcoholic. If you know what I'm saying? I don't want to do push-ups every day, but I've been doing them every day for a couple months now, and I feel great. Now it's part of my daily routine. If I don't want to do it, usually what we don't want to do, that's the next right thing to do. What we do want to do will fill our hearts and everything up with fear and worry and anxiety, restlessness, irritability, discontentment. So even though I don't like to leave my house, because everything I fear is out there and all my comforts are in here. I did my stream early tonight, and I'm going to a meeting with a friend, and I'm going to enjoy a movie in a movie theater. So what if it's overpriced? Who cares? God's will be done. You know what I mean? I'm just doing the next right thing here. I'm hanging out with another alcoholic. He and I needed a meeting, and he asked me if I wanted to go see, I want to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. That's one movie I will go see in the theater. I won't go see like a romantic, I won't, there's not much I won't do anymore. You see, it just happened there. I won't do this. I won't do that. Who the fuck am I? What is my opinions worth? I won't do this and I won't do that. Well, you won't have a life then. You know what I mean? It just happened right here, right before our very eyes, my will taking over. Well, I won't go see a romantic comedy. I thought my bright idea was a movie's not worth it unless there's special effects and shit. Well, guess what happens when I insist on going to one of those? All of a sudden, my eardrums are blasted out and bleeding because I insisted on going only to a movie with special effects in it, and it just so happens to be incredibly loud, and now I got bleeding ears because I asserted my will. Meanwhile, the love of my life, my dream girl, is next door in a romantic comedy watching it in the theater. And the only seat that was available would have been the one that I had to sit in. But I insisted on my will instead of trusting in God. And now I got bloody eardrums when I could have met the love of my life by just letting go of my will. I don't want to go see this or that because my opinions say this. And I know so much about movie theaters and movies that these are my opinions. Who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? Now I got bloody eardrums because my opinions, I insisted upon my opinions. You know what I mean? And that's funny, but it's a very good example of the kind of shit that happens when we assert our will. We get it in our heads that we don't even think about it. We don't say, I have this idea and it's better than trusting in the universe. You know what I mean? Me too, Shades. I'm going to a meeting. It's called The Only Requirement at 7. Then I'm going to go see motherfucking Deadpool and Wolverine because that shit's going to be hot. So this is the kind of shit that's been happening. Because I let go of fear, anxiety, worry, and get out of my comfort zone, I'm probably going to find a bag of $10 million underneath my movie seat tonight. You know, it's probably going to happen. I was scared to leave my dogs alone for so long. I'll be gone from like 7 to 11. They're not usually used to me because I don't have a social life. They're not used to me being out in the evening times lately. But that shit's coming back because I'm trusting in God. Now I got stuff to do. I might even have a job. Here I was thinking, I don't want a job because I don't want to leave my dogs alone. And I know everything about dogs and jobs, and I know everything. For 6 years, I've been trying to work from home on my own will. I ended up drinking, and I've been miserable. I've had no social life. I know everything about how you should live life. Just watch. I've been miserable. People gently telling me, you know, it is healthy to get a job, you know. It gives you a social circle and you get out of the house. It's routine. I'm like, no, that's not what I think. And I know everything. That's essentially what I was saying. Now it's just like, getting a job seems like the right thing to do. You know what? And so is going to see this movie tonight. You know? The dogs will be fine. No. The dogs, they're going to tear everything. You know, my dogs don't tear shit up. I've conditioned them. I've conditioned them to be, there's 2 of them. Dogs are pack animals. And in my opinion, which I've been trashing this entire stream, dogs Every dog should have at least one more dog that it lives with. And therefore they're fairly comfortable when you go see Deadpool and Wolverine. And what I tell you, Holly, what I tell you just today, you're miserable and alone also. What did I tell you just today? Yeah, they do need to turn the volume down. Turn the volume down. I think I know the best volume that this should be at. I'm going to complain because I think my ideas should be the way that the world works. For all I know, and this is kind of how life works, I'll get to heaven, which I didn't even believe in anyway. I'll be like, oh shit, I thought I knew everything and here I am in heaven. And God will be like, you wouldn't have lived as long if you didn't hear so many high volume movies in the movie theaters. They're actually good for your, some explanation. That's how much I know. That's how much anybody knows. What are you talking about, Miss Holly? I know, I was just joking around. I said, get a job. Oh, now I've said too much. My bad, Holly. Anywho, don't go anywhere, Holly. We're all alone and miserable. Until I gave my will over to the care of a higher power, which if I can't find a comprehension of God, I went with AA, and AA showed me God. They say it all the time. God brought me to AA, and AA introduced me to God. All right, y'all. Well, I'm starting to get some beads of sweat on my newly exposed forehead. How do you like this haircut? I think it's cool, but what do I know? You know what I mean? Well, that's it for tonight. I'm gonna feed my dogs, do the damn thing. I'm gonna have a good night because I've said it before, but my life is starting to come back. Life happens. When you work the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, when I worked the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, life starts happening. The only problem was when I worked it before is so much life started happening that life got in the way of going to AA and my will got carried away. With practice, with going to meetings, with practicing the 12 steps and the 12 principles, and with the help of God and my fellow AAers, that shit ain't going to happen again. God's will be done if it does. You know what I mean? If I don't get this job I applied for, God's will be done. I ain't mad at it. I will be mad maybe for a couple hours. I'm looking for that point in life where I can just be like, you know what? God's will be done. It should be like, dude, your legs just got ran over by a Zamboni. God's will be done, man. You must be in a great deal of pain. Yeah, I am. God's will be done. You know what I mean? I don't really even care about the pain. That's where I want to be. Thank you for the good wishes. I'll be here tomorrow, hopefully. I may be going out to dinner after tomorrow's meeting with a bunch of people. If I do, I'll stream early tomorrow. I was actually surprised to see some of you guys. I thought I was going to get on here and there'd be a big 0 up there, and I'd be talking to myself for 45 minutes, but God's will was done, and that wasn't the case. So I'll tell you about the movie tomorrow. Until then, keep it clean, keep it real, keep doing the damn thing one day at a time. Peace.